Today is the 21st Sunday in Ordinary Time. Our Gospel text is Matthew chapter 16, verses 13 through 20. Jesus, by asking a couple of simple questions, draws the disciples into consideration of identity, his identity and their identity. The first question, what do the people think? All those folk out there, what are they saying? The second question becomes more to the point, more concrete. What do you think? I suggest there are three movements happening here in this interchange between Jesus and his disciples. The first one reflects Jesus' growing self-realization, his developing awareness of who and what he is. The second movement reflects the changing consciousness of the disciples. They are slowly beginning to see, to realize who Jesus is, and in that, see and realize who they are. The third movement is one that pertains to humanity as such. In any growth to maturity, there is a shift from seeming to being. Consider the first movement, Jesus' growing, developing self-realization, self-awareness of his identity, who and what he is. Now, it's impossible for us to hold easily, comfortably, the truth of the incarnation, that in Jesus we have the divine and the human, and they are one. That is impossible for us to comprehend. So we must hold those in tension. Probably true to say over the centuries that we've lost the tension, and Jesus, in our consciousness, has slipped away from being thoroughly human and is simply divine. But that's heresy. To believe that Jesus, for example, as a small child, knew exactly who he was, what he had to become, and what was going to happen. Jesus, as a human being, we must assume, developed in his awareness of who he was, in his realization of what was happening. Now, I think this is compatible with a deep sense of vocation, a deep sense that I'm here for a reason. Slowly, and I think that other human beings, you and I, can resonate with that. And slowly, and at times with great force, we realize that being truthful to ourselves can bring us into places we'd rather not go. My God, why have you forsaken me? This is the triumph of truth. John is very strong on this, the exaltation of the Son of Man through his commitment, his obedience unto death. The second movement is the consciousness change that happens in the disciples, happens in all disciples, happens in you and me, if we are open to it, if we reflect, if we think, if we face the truth of our experience seriously. We slowly change in our perceptions of the world. And as disciples of Jesus, we slowly get to know him better, who he is, who he really is, and what the significance of his existence is for the world and particularly for us. And in that, we discover who we are, the significance of our existence in him and through him and with him. We are changed in that developing consciousness. That really is part and parcel of the heart of the spiritual life, to grow. The third movement is one that pertains necessarily to the whole of human existence. As we grow into maturity, we must move more deeply into being and away from just seeming. Too easily, the demands of society, and indeed what our fears cause us to embrace, what makes us vulnerable to the seductions of the world around us, that's seeming, that's not being. Walking away from that, becoming aware of that, can be a difficult task and is always going to be a lifelong task for us. There's a wonderful Hasidic saying, if I am I because I am I, and you are you because you are you, then I am I, and you are you. But if I am I because you are you, and you are you because I am I, then I am not I, and you are not you. It's one of those confronting kind of statements that's part of the wisdom of so many different traditions. There's a great wisdom in that. To sum it up, if my becoming who I am is derailed by my felt need to impress you or to become what you expect me to be, then I am not I. I've substituted seeming for being. I've not been faithful to the growing, changing consciousness. What Jesus invites the disciples into in today's gospel is an invitation to you and me. Not a digging and a probing and a mastery kind of approach. If I find out who I am, I'll apply myself with self-discipline and I'll become that. It is graced emergence. There is no other way. It's a work of facilitation and enabling, not a work of mastery. In the end, it comes as gift, pure gift, not conquest.